If you think a full plate is a good deal, watch this before your next buffet run. We're pulling back the sneeze guard on 9 popular chains where the glow of a heat lamp hides dry meats, limp greens, and risky temperature swings. Today you'll see how tray flipping, reheats, and salty shortcuts turn a bargain into a gamble, especially if you've got dental or digestion concerns. We'll start with the Golden Corral trap, then move chain by chain so you can spot the tells in seconds and pick safer options without paying more. Let's start with the glow that pulls you in. You see steam, shiny pans, and a line that never seems to slow. The truth is, that shine is a stage light. Big trays move fast enough to look fresh, but the play is quantity over quality. Wide pans mean thin layers. Thin layers mean more surface under heat lamps. And that is where meat dries and greens wilt. Here's the real kicker. Alleged tray flipping keeps the top looking just set out. Staff stir the pan, scrape the crust, and bring the older stuff up. It looks new. It is not new. Hold a steak under lamps long enough, and the juices push out. You get chew, not bite. Greens sprayed with a mist perk up on top, while the leaves under the tongs turn slick. Walk the line and you can spot it. Carved roast sits, edges stiffen, fat congeals, then melts and resets with each stir. Chicken gets that dull sheen that says it has been through a few turns. At the cold bar, lettuce at the rim looks crisp while the pile beneath shows brown edges. Cucumbers pick up a slick coat. Croutons go from crunch to cardboard. A scoop looks fine until the second bite tells on it. Now, food safety is simple, not fussy. Hot food stays hot enough to steam for real. Cold food stays cold enough to sting your fingers. Hover in the middle and you're in the danger zone, where bacteria grows fast. That's why kitchens keep temperature logs and reheat rules exist. Reheat once, to the right temp, then serve or toss. Lingering under a lamp isn't reheating, it's aging. For seniors, texture is not a small thing. Tough meat can stress crowns and dentures. Stringy cuts ask for force. That is a risk for choking. Soggy salads coated in heavy dressing go down heavy and can bother digestion. Thin mashed potatoes whipped, hard, then thinned again turn gluey. That texture sticks, not in a good way. When flavor fades, the quick fix is salt and sauce. A ladle of gravy wakes up a tired roast. A salty rub masks dryness. But that shortcut loads sodium, and that hits those watching blood pressure. You are not tasting seasoned. You are tasting rescue. This is not a one-store fluke. The playbook repeats across chains with tweaks. Some depend on sugar glazes, some on butter baths, some on constant stirring to fake turnover. Different trick, same outcome. Food looks ready while time keeps ticking. So here's your mini payoff. Tray flipping and long lamp time make old food look new. Your bite tells the truth. Rubbery protein, watery sides, wilting greens. If you need gentle, safe textures, the risk goes up as the clock runs out. You might want to pass on the pan that's been refreshed 3 times and reach for something cooked to order. Now let's move on to pizza, fried chicken, and those home-style spreads that promise comfort but hide a cold middle under a hot shell. What feels safer than the big 3 on a buffet line? Pizza, fried chicken, mashed potatoes. They look steady. They feel familiar. So why do you bite in and get warmth on the edge and a chill in the middle? That split is the tell. Chains that tout fast rotations and always fresh pans often chase the look, not the core temp. Let's start with how the cycle works. Pies par-baked hours earlier ride a rack. When a slice looks tired, it gets a quick blast to wake the cheese and gloss the pepperoni. Big batch chicken goes from fryer to a holding unit under a hot lamp, then back again when traffic slows. Mashed potatoes land fluffy, then sit covered, then get thinned with water or extra mix to stretch another round. The tray looks full. The clock keeps running. But here's the kicker. Shortcuts make food pose as fresh. A water spritz gives crust a fake sheen. A fast pass through heat blisters the top while the center stays cool. Cakes brushed with sugar water shine like they were just iced, even if they were sliced yesterday. Your eyes say, new. Your tongue says, not yet. Take pizza. You see bubbly cheese, a few caramel spots, edges crisp. Then the first bite hits and the core is cold, like a reheated leftover that never quite came back. That's a gap between surface and center. It tastes wrong, and it matters. Heat should move through the slice, not just kiss the top. Now the chicken. Held too long. The crust soaks up oil, loses crunch, and turns slick. Near the bone, the meat feels tepid. That's where heat travels last, and where risk lives if it doesn't get there. Same story with mashed potatoes. When they're whipped, parked, then brought back with liquids, the starch breaks. You get paste. Spoon tracks hold like a mold. It fills you fast and sits heavy. Food code rules are blunt about this. Reheat to a safe internal temp. Reheat only once. Keep hot food hot, and cold food cold. Kitchens track this with temperature logs because timing and numbers beat guesswork. A lamp is not a reheat plan. It's a hold, and holds have limits. Dessert isn't off the hook. Frozen pies that thaw on the line show ice crystals in the middle. That sparkle is not a treat. It's a thaw signal. Soft serve that pours too fast or too slow can swing from warm foam to hard, icy streaks. Both point to a machine that needs a reset, not a cone. Here's the health angle. Lukewarm proteins carry more risk. Rescue gravies. The salty ladles that try to mask dryness spike sodium, which is rough if you watch your blood pressure. If the outside is hot and the center is cold, that's not a taste gripe. That's a red flag. Send it back or skip it. Now let's move on to the healthy halo buffets and why the salad bar often is not your safe zone. Salad feels safe, right? Greens, beans, a ladle of soup, done. So why do you still see brown rims on lettuce and slick cucumber rounds under a fresh daily sign? The truth is, the health halo sells speed and virtue, but the bar itself runs on time and turnover. When the crowd thins, the produce sits. When it sits, it slumps. Let's start with the brands that lean into premium and salad forward. Clean fonts, bright lighting, a cold wall of toppings that looks like a farmer's market in a row. You feel like you're making the smart call, but presentation is a mask. If pans don't swap often and ice wells aren't packed, the chill fades and the leaves tell on it. You can hear the sales pitch, you just can't hear the clock. Slow hours create the tension. Staff stir to fluff the top and spray a mist to add shine. But rotation is the real test. When pans are topped off instead of replaced, older product hides under newer pieces. That is when cucumbers develop that slick film, cherry tomatoes wrinkle, and spinach goes limp at the stem. Croutons take on that boxy, stale taste that says they've survived a few shifts. Hot-cold flip shows up fast. Soup that should steam arrives in the safe but sad middle ground. Not hot enough to warm your spoon. Not cold enough to count as chilled. Baked rolls sit under weak heat and go rubbery. On the dessert end, brownies and mini pies thaw in place. The center stays cool while the edges sweat. That bead of moisture on a cheesecake bite is a tell that it's still coming up from frozen. Sodium is the quiet shock. Light soups and fat-free dressings often trade fat for salt to hold flavor. You taste zest, your body gets a brine bath. For seniors and anyone salt-sensitive, that's a stealth hit. 2 ladles of broth base can nudge the day's limit before you touch the main plate. The dressing carafe marked vinaigrette might be a salt bomb with a citrus label. Premium seafood doesn't get a pass. Sushi that smells like the dock or feels dry at the edge is time talking. Shrimp that squeaks between your teeth has been sitting. Fish should taste clean and mild. If it tastes like fish, it's past peak. Watch the tools. Shared tongs touch raw proteins on a Mongolian grill line, then land on cooked noodles. A busy hour magnifies that slip. The fix is simple: dedicated utensils and quick swaps. If you don't see that, you're doing the math for them with your plate. Here's the mini payoff. Healthier branding doesn't block wilt, warmth, or salt creep. Judge the bar by what you can test fast. Crisp leaves that snap, bowls sunk in real ice, soup that steams, and clean, separate tools. Don't read the sign. Read the line. So what is the move if you still want range without gambling your gut or your gums? Let's talk fixes. Variety at a low price sounds smart, but the truth is simple. Time, temperature, and salt tricks hide in plain sight. Read the line. Look for crisp greens with snap, real steam rising, and food that's hot or cold to the touch, not lukewarm. Watch for top-offs, wilted edges, and glossy revives. If it looks staged or sits slack under a lamp, skip it. Your plate is your leverage. If this gave you something to chew on, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves a bargain but wants better odds. Next, we'll map buffet tells you can spot in 5 seconds flat.